Across hundreds of cities over the weekend, thousands of people turned out in the wind, cold, snow, and rain for the 4th annual Women's March. And for many, this was the most important march yet, as 2020 marks 100 years since the 19th Amendment was ratified, giving women the right to vote. And earlier this month, nearly 97 years since the idea was first proposed to give everyone in America equal rights regardless of sex, enough states have now approved that amendment to ratify it, at least in theory. The tipping point?
For the women of Virginia and the women of America, the resolution has finally passed.
With that, Virginia became the 38th state to sign off on the Equal Rights Amendment, bringing us over the two-thirds threshold the Constitution says is necessary to ratify. Unfortunately, the legal battles over the ERA's future are just beginning. As a reminder, the amendment itself is pretty simple. It's just one sentence. Equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. And when the ERA was first passed by Congress in 1972, lawmakers set a 7-year deadline for at least 38 states to ratify. They later extended that deadline another 10 years. And while 35 states gave the okay pretty quickly, it took another 40 years for Nevada and Illinois to sign on and 50 years for Virginia. Now, that expired deadline is part of a lawsuit filed by a trio of attorneys general from Alabama, Louisiana, and South Dakota, all of whom I should note are men, looking to block the inclusion of the amendment in the Constitution. A Massachusetts organization called Equal Means Equal has since filed a separate lawsuit challenging that action. They conclude that Article 5 of the Constitution does not give Congress the power to impose deadlines, except when the date is included in the amendment itself, which it is not here. So when Virginia ratified the ERA, it should have become part of the Constitution. There are also 2 bills pending in the House and Senate to nullify that deadline, but a recently published Justice Department guidance means those bills are all but DOA, stating, quote, the Justice Department does not believe that Congress in 2020 may change the terms upon which the 1972 Congress proposed the ERA for the state's consideration. So they say the only way to ratify the amendment is to start all over again. But as Daily Show correspondent Desi Leidick explains, this really should be a no-brainer.
Nothing in our founding documents specifically protects the rights of women. The founding fathers said they were going to add it, but then they went out for cigarettes and never came back. That's where the ERA comes in. It's like a free duck boat tour at Disneyland led by Tom Hanks. Everyone should be on board.
Exactly. And if that doesn't convince you, maybe Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg will.
I have 3 granddaughters. I would like to be able to take out my pocket Constitution and say that the equal citizenship stature of men and women is a fundamental tenet of our society.
The states have spoken. The Constitution is amended. I'm ready to tell my 2 daughters that right now. What do you think? Email us, tweet us, share your thoughts.